So today is my birthday celebration stream, and you know what I totally forgot to do? I was going to turn on the 35% off gift streams, but I didn't do that. I'm sorry, guys. That's all right. So today, like I said, it's my birthday stream. So we are going to be forge welding and using the coal forge, which is a little bit special for what we normally do around here. I can hear myself, but I'm also like, I feel like I need these. I don't know. So I have a cupcake here, and now I'm like really okay. Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on. So I have a cupcake here to kind of celebrate with our, my birthday, I guess. I am 39, which is a little bit, intimidating because next year I'll be 40 and I'm a little bit intimidated by that. Feel like I'm getting a little bit old, but whatever. All right. I need to be able to see chat. So I'm going to flip around the laptop so I can actually read chat. Oh, Yankee, thank you so much for that raid. Thank you so much. Oh, there's sound now? Awesome. Excellent. I'm glad. Yeah, I've got my partner who is kind of running the stream a little bit. And while I was trying to get the forge started. So I'm going to shout out Yankee. And thank you so much for that raid. All right. So it looks like my forge does not want to stay lit. This is totally what happens when you don't have enough coked coal. I'm going to put that right there. And we're probably going to have to restart this. But I need it to be nice and hot and started so that I can start heating my stock. So I've actually been out here for probably, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes trying to get this stupid thing started. So yeah, I apologize. I am definitely going to be relying on my mods to kind of help me out a little bit as far as like anybody who raids or anything like that. If you guys could grab my shout outs, that would be great. I don't know who all is in yet, but welcome to the stream. I'm a little bit discombobulated and I apologize for that. Once I get this thing started, we will light the candle on my cupcake and we'll do the birthday celebration. So I can't read chat from here. I apologize. I would totally pull out my phone so I could read chat, but I don't. I've got coal all over my hands, and I don't really want to get my phone covered in coal. Sure, if you want to, if you can. But yes, thank you guys so much for joining me today. We're just getting started. So as you can see, we've got a little bit of fire going at the moment, but it's still coming out of the torch and not out of the forge itself. So I started with a whole bunch of coal and not a lot of coke. Coke really lights a lot better than coal does. I have to kind of turn my coal into coke before it'll really start lighting. So what I'm trying to do is get this really big piece of coal to turn into coke. And if I can get this guy to light, then I'm... What? We went offline? What do you mean we went? Okay. Where? The main screen. Okay. All right. Well, I will have to turn this off so that I can fix that. Corwin says I'm still on.
Oh, okay. He was showing a big thing that said offline.
It's very delayed.
Okay.
I know. Sorry, my partner's really new to streaming, so got a little bit worried. You guys know how I get worried sometimes about whether or not I'm live or you guys can hear me and things like that. Oh, come on. Light, please. Please. Pretty please, light. All right, so I think it's finally going to start. I hope it's finally going to start. I may actually have too much. If this does not light in a few moments, I'm probably going to dig to the bottom and pull out some of the lower the other things. There might actually be some blockage in here, so we might not be getting a lot of air. And that might also be the problem. Let's see if that helps. So thank you all for joining me and bearing with me. It's all good. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. And also thank you, Mahalo, specifically for helping me out as a mod now. We've been growing, so I have given Mahalo mod permissions. So because we're starting to get to a point where it's getting a little bit overwhelming. So that is so exciting that we're growing that much. So thank you all so much. Thank you so much. So today, as far as blacksmithing is concerned, we are going to be forge welding this piece of 1080, and we're going to be forge welding it to this axe jacket. So the first thing that we're going to be doing is heating this up and folding it into a U shape. Then we're going to turn it over and put it in the vise, and we are going to be grinding this interior so that we can clean that off. The trick to forge welding is that you have to have incredibly clean metal. So I took the time to kind of clean this metal or like the bit this morning. So we will be generating more scale as we bend this guy. So I needed to wait before I ground this guy down. So, or I guess it's this side. So it's going to be a fun stream. We'll see if I can actually get my forge weld to stick. I'm not amazingly good at forge welding, I'll tell you that now. So you might see some catastrophic failure. I think the worst possible thing that could happen is the bit could shoot off in a forward direction. Likely what's going to happen is that the bit will shift in here and it will stick in a place I don't want it to stick. So as we're going, I'm always willing to answer questions. It's going to be a little bit of time before I can get to those questions, though, because I can't really read them from here. So I got to go up and back, and tending this coal is going to be a little bit tricky today. This is the wrong thing on the hook. Stay. So yes, unfortunately, I do have to spend a little bit of extra time working with the coal forge than I would while we're working with the gas forge, if that makes sense. I'm gonna put that there. I want that to get hot and start coking. So I'm gonna do my very, very best to get to the point where we can do that forge weld, but it might take a little bit of time. All right, I think we're doing pretty good. We've got a nice smoke area. That smoke is going to catch fire, and that should theoretically be a good start to our fire. Isn't there risk of burning the steel? There is a risk of burning the steel. I may see, that seems like a brave move. A coal-fired forge for this special first axe head. Isn't there a risk of burning the steel? Yes, there is definitely a risk of burning the steel. And that risk is exponentially greater because I'm paying attention to you guys and the, chat, as well as like what's going on with, my birthday stuff. So we're gambling, but content is content, right? Whether I screw up or not. All right, so I've got a good fire going here. I'm actually pretty happy with that. So I think while I'm waiting for that a little bit more, I want it to get a little hotter. We are going to light the candle on my cupcake, and I'm going to, we're going to celebrate the birthday stuff. Exciting then, isn't it? Yes. So this project is kind of about, a 50-50 shot at actually getting a real axe out of this piece. So I could get a couple hunks of steel, or we could get a working axe. I'm hoping for a full axe, like a working axe, but you know what? It's a fun time and a fun learning experience, even if it's a hunk of junk. So I'm going to light my candle on my cupcake. So I was originally going to actually like heat up a piece of stock and light the candle with the piece of stock, but then I decided I wanted to eat it, like the cupcake. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to light it with the torch, which seems a little excessive. But it's exciting. I promise, guys, it's lit, but you can't see it because there it goes. Yeah. I mean, I feel like this is a baby flame, I better blow it out before before it blows itself out. There's a little bit of a breeze going. So this is my birthday stream. Here's my birthday cupcake. I had a nice wish. I'm not going to tell you my wish, though, because then it won't come true. So, yes, candle. And you know what I'm going to do with this candle? I'm going to stick it in there. And I'm going to eat these, this cupcake with coal hams. Look at that candle melting. There's weird grease on my anvil from the cupcake paper. That's fun. All right. So thank you all for joining me on my birthday stream. I've had so much fun streaming for you guys for this last 8-9 months, however long it's been. And I could not continue doing this without you guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for your support. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe if I had been a little bit more thoughtful, I would have actually lit the forge with the candle. But you know what? I don't know. I didn't think about it until just now. All right, we've got a really nice flame going here. I'm pretty happy with that. So, let's see if I can move these guys over while maintaining my fire. And put the steel in. So we're going to lay this on top just like so. And then we're going to move some of this coal on top. And this could be a mistake, but we're going to do our best. All right. So the goal is to heat this up right around. Well, that was fun. I wonder what that noise is. I bet you it's the candle. Or maybe there is some scale popping off. Or imperfections in the coal. I guess there's a few things that it could be. All right, once I've got this in here, I'm going to take a look at comments and see what you guys have been saying. So I'm probably going to be back and forth and back and forth. So if I miss your comment because we're going fast, I apologize. Just kind of, whoo, way smoky. Please be patient. All right, we've got some really nice fire going here and some green smoke. That is actually a little bit of sulfur coming out of the coal. Because this is green coal that I've pushed over this piece of stock. So I've got a few minutes that I can answer questions. Hey, Jack, welcome in. Candle wax, yes. That's the secret ignition burst, yes. Awesome. That probably is, you know, that's what it is. It's got to be that candle. So yeah, thank you guys all for joining me for my birthday stream. I think I've said that a lot today. So, you know. You know what? I don't have my activity thing up. So let me put my dock up real fast for my activity feed in case you guys are, you know. In case you guys are rating in and, you know, follows and stuff. So thank you so much, Yankee, for that raid and for all of your follows, guys. Thank you so much for that. All right. So the goal is to heat up the area around the heel section of this axe. And we are going to be curving this in a U shape. So I want to be able to kind of cradle a handle for an axe like this shape. So we're going to pull that out of the fire when it's hot enough, and we're going to use the horn of the anvil to start that curl. We might start using the vise to kind of get a nice flat curve. And because of that, I should probably move these guys. But yeah, It should be a fun stream. So I am actually expecting not to be able to start forge welding until later on in the stream. So stick around and you'll be able to see it. All right, now we're gonna check on this piece of steel. We're still relatively cold. A lot of the heat is really deep inside of this coal. So I'm gonna kind of move some of this out from under here so that maybe we can pull this piece a little bit deeper, get it towards some of that heat. Whew. That was fun. And likely I will probably start using a mask because it helps a little bit with the smoke. I'm kind of really close to it right now, the smoke. All right. So this is going to take a little bit to heat up because the stock itself is relatively thick. And so it takes quite a bit of time to heat it up in the gas forge. It's going to take at least that amount of time in the coal forge. This does get a little bit hotter, but it's a more pinpoint heat. So we're going to have to heat the whole piece a little bit because if we're just heating that pinpoint section, the ends of it are going to suck some of the heat away. So it's going to take a little bit of heat buildup throughout the whole piece in order to get that pinpoint heat that we're looking for. It's kind of worrying. Might I unhelpfully suggest you not ignore chat and focus on not burning that out? Oh, ignore chat. I mean, I've got some time to pay attention to both chat and the fire. Also, I have a second pair of hands here. I have a fire extinguisher and I have a full bucket of water. 2 full buckets of water, really. I have my drinking water, and then I also have my quench bucket out here in case we do start a small fire. There is a chance that when we start forge welding, we will start a small fire because as we hammer that first few hits while we're forge welding, the flux that we're going to use to keep our steel clean will start shooting out. So I do have an extra set of hands to help me make sure that I'm as safe as I possibly can be. And if it gets too unruly, we can always shut down the stream and make sure, because safety is first as far as, you know, making sure that I don't set buildings on fire and injure myself. But thank you so much for your concern. I'd greatly appreciate that, you know. Safety is one of my top priorities here. It's not always my first priority necessarily, but it's, you know, top 3 at the very least. So over here in this tin, I have my flux. This is what we're going to use to keep my steel clean. And we are going to, or it's borax. So basically what it does is it creates a glass coating over top of the steel. And that prevents oxygen from getting to the surface of the metal and creating problems. In order to get a good, strong forge weld, you have to make sure that you don't have any scale or dirt or coal inside the seam. And so that is incredibly important. All right. So we're starting to get a little bit of heat. bring some of this other coal a little bit closer so it can start coking up. You always want to have a lot of excess coal around your fire so that it is constantly coking up, because the coke is what is really going to give you the really hot fire. So you don't want too much because you'll smoke yourself out, but enough that you're going to maintain your flame. Lizzie, is that you? Welcome to the stream, Bluesy. Thank you so much for joining me on my birthday stream. So like I said, I am going to be a little bit on the quiet side at times, because I am paying close attention to my steel. Because you guys are right, this is a big risk. I am very conscious of the fact that I could burn the carbon out of my steel, and that would be very sad, because then I'd have a very soft axe. All right. We're getting a little bit of heat, so we should soon be able to start bending this guy. We are at a dull orange right now, and we want to get closer to a bright lemon yellow. So I can totally see the shape of comments, but I can't read them until I get really close. Of course it is I. I am Bluesy, the woman with 1,000 faces, and they all look the same. Well, if they all look the same, does that mean that they're all different expressions? That kind of reminds me of the show that I used to watch. It was called, what was it, Reboot? I used to watch that show as a kid. It was one of the very first 3D animation shows. And it took place inside of a computer, and there was a villain who wore a whole bunch of different masks with different expressions on them. Drinking bathtub water. It's a little bit aloe. All right. So we are starting to get the heat that we're going to need to start forging this shortly. It looks like an ad is about to start. So that will give us plenty of time to make sure that our stock is hot enough to start forging. Now, one thing about using a coal forge is that I do not have the ability to, I won't always have the ability to delay our heats like I do in the gas forge, because if I delay too much, I could very well burn the steel. And so I will not necessarily be able to wait until the end of the ads. So subscriptions, Prime subscriptions, also Twitch Turbo will help with that. I believe there are also some Chrome extensions that you can get that'll block the ads. So I apologize if you don't get to see one of the heats. But I'll do my best. Monsieur Leclerc. I think I am a little bit too young for that one, maybe. I don't know that I am familiar with that one, with that reference. You are, okay. I mean, like I said, it's my birthday. I'm 39, you know? All right. So I think we'll have plenty of heat after the ad is done. We got about a minute and a half until then we should. I don't know why I jumped at that. We should be good to go. Where did, oh, I hung it up like, like I'm supposed to. I might be asking you guys at some point where I put my tools and things. We might turn the stream a little bit into Blue's Clues. I don't think I like this coal rake as much as my old one, the one that I lost. I mean, I know we made this one together, and so that is definitely, it's got sentimental value to me, but I don't think it works quite as well as my old one. I think that this section right in here was a little bit wider on my old one. It's not working quite as well, but that's all right. We can always make a new one. That's what we do. All right. Don't worry about it. All right. So we're getting a pretty bright orange, and it looks like the ad hasn't even started yet. I'm not sure when it's going to start. It just gives me this notification that the ad is going to start, and it hasn't told me that it has started yet. So I will have to pull this out of the heat soon. I'm gonna put my headphones on because the sound of the anvil is going to be a little bit shrill. You might want them to. I don't know. The smoke is it's starting to get to me a little bit, so soon I might end up putting on my mask. As long as it's going in that direction, it's fine, but the wind always rotates around, so I can never tell where it's going to be. It's hard to decide where I'm going to stand. Is the ads going? I think the ads are going now. Okay, cool. All right. Once these ads are done, I think we'll be at a nice lemon heat, so we should be able to do our first bend. Hopefully I'm seeing the right thing here. You don't want to, accidentally burn it as the first heat, Utility beats sentiment every time. All right, so it looks like our ad is done already. I'm going to put this over here. That's actually my bucket of coal, so we'll move it back over there, or if we need to add more coal. And I think I want that over there and this here. We should be good to go now. All right. Oh, I want it to be this way. Come on. All right. We are a little bit on the cooler side, and that's probably just because I'm not or I'm still not used to playing with coal like I used to be. So we'll put this back in the heat. We're going to dig that back in there. And, oh, I moved it over. I put it back where it's supposed to go. You know, that's my whole thing. It's like, I never remember to put things back. And then when I do, I don't, you know? I don't remember that I put it back where it goes. Clean all the scale off. Yeah, it's like one of these days, you know, I will just put things back the way or where they go, and then I won't have to worry about losing them. But yeah, for the moment, I lose things when I put them back where they're supposed to go. So I don't know. Hey, Ticardo. Yeah, that thing is on fire. That thing is my coal forge. So this is a lot more manageable for more precision heating, and it's a lot easier for me specifically to do forge welds with it. So the goal is to take this flat piece of steel and cup it in a U shape. Then we are going to take this piece of steel here and forge weld this inside of that U shape. So we'll close it up. We're turning this into an axe. Right now, it looks like it's a double-bladed axe. We're going to turn this into a single-bladed axe by folding it in half and forge welding the ends together. So that is our goal for the moment. Let me see if I can't pop that just like that and see if we can't get a little bit more air through. I'm losing a little bit out the bottom here. But yeah. I know that feeling. I've got a crescent wrench lying around somewhere exactly where I put it, but no clue where it is. Yes, I do that all the time. It's like, you know, I will have it in my hand and I'll set it down somewhere, and like 30 seconds later, I'm looking for it. I have no clue what happened to it. I do that all the time with like tongs and my see, I've done it again. My multi-tool. It usually lives in my pocket, but I'll set it down someplace. Oh, it's right here. See, it's over here, and set it in my pocket where it belongs. So before our next heat, I am probably, or like after our next heat, I'm probably going to dig out a little bit of clinker out of the bottom of this. And we'll see, you know, if I can get a little bit more heat. It's looking like it's starting to cool down just a little. Let's see. There. All right. All right, we should have some decent amount of heat going right there. All right, so I'm going to turn this around and I am going to put this in this direction so that we can start making a U shape, because once we get that U shape, we'll be able to pick it up by the edges like so and then hammer it directly down. So that is our next goal. So I do want to take a look and make sure I don't have a lot of clinker in the bottom of this. I've got a little piece right like so. There we go. That's better. Now we're going to put our steel inside there. Cover it up. Just like that. And one of the things that is a little bit infuriating about coal forging is that not only am I fighting the scale, I also end up getting like coal dust and things on top of the face of the anvil. So sweeping that off is very, very important. Mahalo, you don't want to know how much I have invested in wrenches. I think there's whole factories dedicated to replacement 10 millimeters. Yes, there are. Man, it is so hard to find a 10 millimeter ratcheting, like the little ratchet head. I feel like that's a running joke. I mean, I feel like Snap-on trucks could like make plenty of money if that's all they stocked. But I mean, I also feel like a lot of times those type of things like drill bits and ratchet sets, a lot of times I'll buy them specifically for the job. Without a doubt, yeah, them too. It's not a joke. Yes, I am constantly buying replacement drill bits. Specifically though, because most drill bits are not designed for like the metal drilling that I do all the time. So they heat up all the time, and they end up dulling out. So I'm constantly buying new drill bits for whatever job I'm doing. So that drill press, I'm hoping that because it is variable speed, I'll be able to save some of my drill bits, you know? I have before I got the drill press, I was using a lot of hand drills, and yeah, it was a thing, a big thing. All right, I am taking a look at our steel, looking that we're starting to get nice and warm. We're gonna be able to do a bend very soon, but I want to wait just a little bit longer. You can kind of see right over here that the other end is kind of facing upward, and that is because I started that bend. I want to get both sides bent, and then we'll be able to hammer directly down, and it'll make the bend a little bit easier. I'm afraid that my axe is going to be really, really short. But like I've said throughout this whole process, this is my very first axe, and so I really don't know what I'm doing, and I'm figuring it out as I go. We shall see how well I do. All right, remember, I'm putting this where it goes, and I'm going to pull the steel out. And I'm going to flip it around. Drop it on the ground. That's not cool. I don't really have any good tongs for this project at this point. So I've got to use these guys for the moment. Come on, I want to do this like so. And then, you know what? I put it back. I put it back where it's supposed to go. Goodness gracious. I don't do a lot of coal forging. You guys can totally tell because the way I'm like tending this fire is kind of awful. You know what? Let's do that. I knocked over my fan. All right, I'm going to change tongs to these guys. These are our pickup tongs. So in theory, we should be able to pick this up on the outside edges, and we should just be able to hammer directly down on top. So that's the theory anyway. Get some proper drill bits, not the El Cheapo ones for Harbor Freight. See, I usually buy my drill bits from the big box store. So they're like DeWalt. I also have used Bosch drill bits before. I don't buy them at Harbor Freight usually. But I mean, if I were to buy the really good ones, like the machining ones, I think that would probably save me some money. It's kind of the whole Sam Vimes problem. You know, you buy the cheap stuff and you end up spending way more money because you have to continue buying them over and over. I think after that water, I'm gonna go. I was brought a Gatorade as well, so I think that's what I'm gonna drink after the water is the Gatorade. It's gonna taste a little better. Yay, theory! I know that's totally the thing, right? Theory is completely different than practice. You know, I'm really apt at the whole theory, less so in practice. But I feel like a lot of people are, you know? The difference between me and a lot of people is I am totally willing to test out a theory that probably isn't going to work. So I started with about 25 pounds of coal. So we'll see how much that we go through today. I'm not entirely sure. I have another 100 pounds sitting over there in bags, but my bags are kind of disintegrating. So if I were to do, if I have to pick up another bag of coal, I'm going to have to find a new like bin to put it in. Happy birthday. Thank you so much, Ping. Welcome to the stream. We're still relatively early in this process. It took me a while to get the coal forge started today. I thought I was going to have to start the stream late because I wanted to get it started before I started the stream. But yeah, it's just been a pain in the butt. I finally got a nice fire going, so we're doing all right. But, you know, it's taken me a little bit of extra time. All right, I'm going to do another heat. We're going to pick this guy right up, right like so. And I'm going to hammer it like this, I think, maybe. Or maybe not. You know what? I'm not very good at, you know, planning my heats. That's one of my problems, you know, planning my heats. Let's do this. You know what? That is definitely not helping. You know what? Let's reheat this and, oh, yummy. Whew. Yeah, if I was smart, I would not be forging on blacktop. Here we go. All right, now I got to figure out a different set of tongs for this because those aren't working. Those are worse than the other set. Oh, goodness. Please work the way I want to. I don't really want to have to do this again. There we go. All right. So I'm thinking that if I use these and put it in the vise like I did previously, we might be able to get a little bit more fold going, and then maybe it'll be easier that way. And then I'll be able to hammer directly down with maybe with these tongs, because then I can grab the center with those tongs. Like I said, usually my theories don't really work out. All right. But you know what? Floundering is content too. All right. This guy can go right there. It's all right. It's all good. Oh, I never thought of blacktop. Very hot things. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say planning the heat is vital for welding. It definitely is. But we haven't gotten to that point yet. We're not welding yet. Right now, we're just bending the stuff so that I can get a nice C. And then from there, we are going to be grinding the interior area of it. And then we will definitely have to start planning our heats from there, because I want to make sure that everything is nice and clean. I can't take shortcuts with this. Jack knows. Do you happen to have any gloves with you? I mean, I do have gloves. I probably should grab some. Because it'll make it a lot easier to move the coals around. How are we doing? All right, we should be good. So yeah, this should be entertaining, whether I'm able to forge weld this piece or not, you know? A right. The brown one. Thank you. I don't know. I think the left is probably better, but whatever.
There's only right-hand gloves.
Oh, there. I don't know what happened. Did I lose my left-handed glove? Every time. Where's the left-handed glove? Every welder knows. Where's the left-handed glove? All right. I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to grab these, and I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to take these, and I'm going to go like so. And then theoretically, I should be able to do this. Ah, that's a lot better, actually. All right, now I'm going to need to move that heat closer in here because I've got a lot of movement on these edges, but really I want all of that heat like right in there. So we'll kind of try and figure out if we can't do that. This looks like a thing, and I'm not going to say what it looks like to me. Some of you can probably guess. There we go. There we go. Whew. Remove some of this coal on this side. I have more coal on that side than I have on this other side. Whoa. Too much smoke. That can go over there for a moment. Looks good on you. Oh, that's a nice looking sword on Mahalo. Yes. Do as you will, but when welding, I often put gloves on because I don't want splashy borax on my joints. Yeah, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. And I probably will put gloves on. Maybe. I don't know. I'll figure it out. So what Jack is talking about is as I close the jaws of, or like the two sides of this piece of steel, all of the flux, which is the borax that I put on there to keep it clean, is going to spray out in all directions. It's going to be a really pretty shot, but it's kind of painful if you get splashed with it. But yes, Ping and Mahalo, you both look great with that sword. You know, I just might be relying on you a little more. All right. I think there's a whole bunch of. I'm gonna put that on the ground. There's a whole bunch of clinker right there, and I want to make sure that I don't accidentally mix it in with the regular coal, because that will not be cool. All right, a little bit more heat. Is that all right? Up to you. It's just super not fun when splashed between your hand and the hammer. I've had that happen too. Your left hand glove is popping up. Oh, you know what? You guys are right. My left hand glove is propping up my forge. I think the last time we had steel propping up the forge. I'm not. I did not put that there. Oh well. I guess I won't use my left hand glove. You guys are awesome, you know, with the Blues Clues. Where's my left glove? You guys found it. That's awesome. All right, so we do have an ad incoming. Like I've said, I am not sure if I'm going to be able to wait until that ad is done in order to do our next heat, because I want to make sure that we're not burning our steel. I have been forging a little bit on the cold side, so I think I should be able to, but I'm not positive I'll be able to wait the entirety of the ad. We will see. This is totally why I normally stream with the gas forge. It's a lot easier to manage both the stream and the forging. I want Ping on my team for Where's Waldo. Yes. You know what? The funny thing is, I have the button that allows me to delay the ad up on my stream manager, but now it's popping up on OBS, which is very interesting, but it covers all of my chat. So I don't know. I guess I could delay the ad. I just dismissed it. That was dumb of me. I should have delayed the ad, because then I could do the heat now. All right, well, I'm going to try it anyway. Hopefully I get it done before the ad is done. And we are still running a little bit on the cooler side, so we might not get quite as much heat as I'm looking for, or time as I'm looking for, but it's all right. So we've got a nice C going. We need to flatten it out a little bit though. Definitely flatten it out. So I'm going to heat this back up. I knew that middle was going to be a little bit of a problem. I was hoping I'd be able to fix it though in time. Or maybe just not even have to worry about it. But you never, it's one of those things where you like, whenever you think that you'll be okay and you don't actually need to deal with something, you definitely do. All right. There is a lot of coal dust over here, so I think I'm going to need to add more coal to this forge. That's a piece of the bag. All right. Alrighty. Now we've got plenty of coal, so we should be able to do a decent amount of forging now. After I pull the steel for this next heat, I'm going to clean out the clinker out of the bottom. Let's see if I can't do a little bit of that right now. I don't think so, because for whatever reason, the clinker likes to stay in there, and my clinker breaker doesn't work as well as I need it to. Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Wow. I need to, like, once this ad is done, I need to thank a bunch of people, because I've been losing track of all of my my activity in the chat. So thank you guys, Ping and Mahalo, for thanking people for me. I think I need to do that too, though. So once this ad is over, I will be thanking a bunch of people. Thank you guys. Man. Wow. Do we have a hype train? Wow, guys. Thank you so much for that hype train. Wow, guys. So, thank you so much, Oinkle Dude, for that 1,000 bits. That is insane. That's so crazy. Thank you so much for those bits and that follow. Welcome to the community. Welcome to the stream. Yes, birthday hype. What is the temperature of the forge? It's gonna be close to 2,500 degrees, and that is Fahrenheit. Czar106, thank you so much for that follow. Wow, thank you so much for those cheers, everybody. Ping, Oinkle Dude, again, thank you so much. Yes, you guys are so generous. It is my birthday, but like, you know, thank you so much for the being generous and supporting the community. Thank you guys so much. This is amazing. I hope you guys are having fun. I'm a little bit less interactive than I normally am, because I am having to pay close attention to this forge. So I apologize for that, but it is necessary. I need a little bit more time on this, or to heat up this piece, and then we should be ready to go as far as our next heat. But yes, thank you guys so much for this hype train. This is amazing. Thank you so much, Diomedes Industries, for that raid. Welcome to the stream, guys. Today what we are doing is we are making, or we're working on an axe. So right now I am folding this axe. It looks like a two-bladed axe right now, but we're going to turn it into a single-bladed axe. The goal today is to forge weld this piece of 1080 inside of a 4140 jacket of medium carbon steel. So this is high carbon. It's going to hold a blade and edge really well. And the 4140, it's a medium carbon steel. It's going to allow a little bit of give so that your hand is less stressed when you are using that axe. So welcome to the stream. Welcome to the community. Raid and Run, happy birthday. Thank you so much for that. Happy birthday. Welcome to the stream, guys. I'm also, I do a lot of raiding and running. I always feel bad, but you know, it's one of those things where you work hard when you're streaming and you know, you gotta rest. It's a lot of work. All right, let's try our next heat. Gotta be careful. I almost spilled my my flux, and that would have been bad. All right. So for our next heat, what we're going to do is we're probably going to heat up these areas right here. We're going to put this over the horn and kind of straighten these out. We're getting like a real curve, and we want these guys to be straight and neat. So this section down here is too flat. But this section right here and right here is too curved. So we're going to try and fix that as best we can. And first, we are going to pull clinker out again. We got a lot of clinker going in the bottom of that forge. There we go. We're starting to get much better looking fire in there. Guys, you can definitely see the difference in those flames. And that is because all of this clinker, and what clinker is it is burned up coal. When coal gets or is finished burning, they call it clinker. So what we're looking for is coke. Coke is a medium burn coal. And that is when all of the impurities in your coal are gone. It is also the hottest flame you're ever going to get in a coal forge. All right. Clean that off, and then I will talk to you guys for a bit. Forge seems to be working nicely. It's a pretty thick piece and it's heating it quick. Yes, it definitely is. Wow. So thank you guys so much for completing that hype train. That was amazing. That's only my second hype train that I have ever had. We are growing as a community though. That's really exciting. It's so nice. I honestly, when I first started this stream, I didn't think that I was going to get many viewers at all. I wasn't sure people would be interested in real life stuff. Because when I first joined Twitch, it was all about video games. And joining the makers and crafters scene has been amazing. There are so many beautiful people in this space, both creators and viewers, watchers. It's you guys keep me here. Thank you guys so much. But yeah, the forge is working pretty well. Gigabyte, thank you so much for that follow, as well as Little Bear Meaties. Little Bear Medis? I'm sorry, I am butchering you guys' names. If you have a preferred name, please let me know. That way, if I see your chat, I can, pronounce it correctly and give you, the proper, or I can match the proper name with the people. Thank you so much for joining the community. Welcome in. It has been an amazing last 8 months, and I've got you guys to thank for that. You guys motivate me to keep on keeping on. Little Bear Remedies, but everyone calls me Little Bear. Okay, awesome. I will call you Little Bear then. A Jelly Gato, thank you so much for that follow. Corwin says this is my favorite channel. Haven't seen any other blacksmiths on here. There are several blacksmiths in this space, but a lot of them are actually on the the European time zones. So a lot of them actually stream overnight for United States people. And so I don't get to watch a lot of them, but they are there. So, or at least I guess I don't get to watch a lot of them live. I do try and see some of their VODs. Jack is actually a blacksmith that has streamed in the past. All right, we're going to pull this out. We're going to hang it over top of the horn and flatten this out a little bit, widen that out so that we can... There we go. I want to move this that direction. Maybe if I push or put this, grab a hold of it with this guy, I should be able to. Move that fold back. That's much better. That's much better. All right, so we have a little bit better of a fold on this side. We're going to work on this side next. So we're going to heat this section. It's a little bit too tight there, or I guess here you can kind of see that. We've got a nice flat there. I want to move that fold back towards there and straighten this up so that it can fold like so, like an axe shape. Let me tend to the fire real fast. There it goes. That's better. Much more better. And then this goes in like so. And then we cover that with coal. Put a few pieces inside there so that we got a nice hot area for it. There we go. So yes, thank you so much for joining the stream and the community. So yeah, I hope you guys are having fun. This is not our normal style of stream. Normally we actually stream in the shop, which is that direction. Right now we're in a carport, but I would stream in the garage. That's my shop. And we normally would blacksmith on a gas forge. And the reason that we blacksmith on the gas forge is that no matter how long I talk to you guys, I never have to worry about my piece burning in the heat. I never have to worry about decarburizing my steel. And those are two major worries that I have every time I'm using the coal forge. The reason that we're using the coal forge today is because we are celebrating my birthday today, as the stream title says, but we are also going to attempt to forge weld this axe together. I am going to take both both sides of this axe, and we are going to forge weld this bit in between them. So that is the goal. We've got a lot of shaping to do and a lot of work that we need to finish up. But I'm hoping that we can at least forge weld the bit in there today. So we shall see how well it works. I do need to do a little bit of cleanup before we do the actual forge weld itself. And so we're still trying to shape it into that C that's going to allow us to forge weld the two sides together. So yes, we're getting a lot of really good heat. It is finally getting to the point where I'm actually pretty satisfied with my heat management. I'm really not amazingly used to using the coal forge. I've only really done it 3 times in this year, and that's not a lot overall. I'm much more comfortable using my gas forge. All right, we're gonna pull this out. Like so. We've got quite a lot of heat there. I'm going to put that there for now. We're going to take this over to the horn of the anvil and kind of straighten it out a little bit. Or at least I'm going to try to. It might take us a second heat to do this side. We're doing a little bit better. You can kind of see that what we've done there. So the goal is actually to have these guys meet and kind of create like a duck bill. So we definitely need to hammer directly on this back so that we can meet those together. Right now we've got a nice circle, but we need to compress this back edge. So what I'm going to do next, I think, is I do want to make this a little bit flatter. So we'll do that first. And then we'll start really heavy hitting down on the face. Do I need to clean out clinker again? Tending the fire is a full-time job around here. There we go. All right, that might actually take a little bit of extra time because little area right there needs to go in there, and then there we go. All right, there we go. Nearly open air smithing. Ray going old school and continue with clinker. Yes, that is definitely what I am doing. I'm not amazingly used to dealing with clinker and open fire, but I never learned how to do like forge welding in a gas forge. And I also feel like I would need to do a little bit of prepping before I was able to do it. This stuff, which is the flux, if I open it up, you guys can kind of see what it looks like. It's just a laundry borax. And so this stuff will actually eat away at the forge bricks that are actually what makes up my coal or my gas forge. So I kind of have to line it before I can use this inside that forge. And I also only have a single burner on my gas forge, and it just, the process takes a little bit more heat than that little one burner can do. So we're out here on the coal forge where I can increase the heat as much as I need to. So yes. I'm just glad that we don't have near the amount of smoke that we had before, or like earlier today. I have used flux, but that was a small electric soldering iron. This is industrial scale in contrast. Yeah, I mean, jewelry flux and like electronic soldering flux is a little bit different than this kind of flux. So, like I said, this is 21 mule T borax. You can actually find it in the laundry aisle of any grocery store, really. So basically, what it does is as it melts, it creates a glass barrier that prevents air from getting to the surface of the steel. So you get rid of a lot of imperfections, impurities, and things like that by using the flux. And so yeah, that's kind of the goal. All right, let's see if I can't get this all to work this time. All right, if I put this in here like so, then I can kind of pick that up and grab it with these and burn myself. There we go. All right. Now we're gonna, I guess we can't go over there, so I guess we're gonna come back over here some more. All right, so now we've got a nice flat section here, and that's exactly what we want to see. I'd like to see it on this side as well, but really what I'm trying to do is I really need to compress this area right here. This is really, really long, and we're never going to get the axe to touch. Also, that's way too much material for the handle of this axe. So I'm going to put it in like so and hope that we heat it up enough in the right spot that we can kind of compress that area. Like I said, this is my very first axe, so I know that I have screwed this up royally. So we'll see if I can salvage it. Clinker. Some of that clinker out of there. Look at that giant piece of clinker. All right. There we go. Alrighty. Much better. Get rid of this clinker. That's what was making it so cold. That icky clinker. Sweeping is going to be super necessary during cleanup. Raw. Oh, all right. So I'm doing my best to get this going and make sure that it is or that we actually get to the forge weld today. But I've definitely screwed this up. I can tell you that right now. This is kind of a screw. I should not have left the amount of thickness around the butt end of this axe that I allowed to be there. I really should have focused it really hard in on that hammer shape that I was really wanting to see. I allowed too much thickness, and so it's making it a lot harder for me to bend it in the place that I want it to. So instead of getting a nice curve around the handle, what I've got is a wide base and just like two little sections that kind of stick up, they'll never meet the way I have this right now. So I'm doing my best to kind of fix this and see if we can't salvage this process. But you know, we might need to start from scratch, or at least, you know, spend a little bit of time reworking it in and approach this forge weld at another time. This will probably be the only time that I can do a coal forge for this piece on stream. So I'm really, really hoping that I can manage to fix this. Not sure if you read it, but this is a very important message. Let me repeat it. Happy birthday. Thank you so much, Sandwich. Welcome to the stream. Happy birthday. Thank you so much. Never too late. Just needs more fire. Yes, you are so right, Mahalo. It's never too late. This is not a catastrophic failure. This is a assess and reapproach. And I will have to maybe try again at a later date. But like I think this is probably the only time that I'll be able to attempt to forge weld it on stream, just because this is a lot of work pulling everything out. But I will film the entire process if I'm not able to manage this before the stream is over. I'll film the entire process of forge welding this together for you guys to watch on YouTube. And, you know, if you need me, or, you know, if you want me to, we can watch it together. We'll do a watch along with it for that video if we need to. Let's call it an educational failure. Definitely correctable still. It definitely is. It's just, I don't necessarily know that I will have enough time within this stream to get the weld together. I'm starting to think that I will have to weld it at another time. So I'm really hoping that I can, you know, pull this out of, you know, pull the plane up so that we can actually get that welded together. Because I really want you guys to see it live if I can manage it. Blacksmith requirements, PhD in practical chemistry and advanced degree in engineering, or just a lot of practice? Yes. We have an ad break in 2.5 minutes. So I think we can do another heat before that ad happens. So that's what we're going to try and do. But yeah, like I said, this is not a catastrophic failure. This is just a planning failure. So we will make this axe. We will succeed at this axe. It's just going to take a little bit more time than I thought. So, you know, we might be working on this for a little bit Monday, Tuesday. Like I said, I won't be forge welding it on stream because, or like, unless I'm doing it in the gas, and I don't think I have a way to do that in the gas forge right now. But yeah, we'll definitely make an axe. It just might not look as much like an axe right now like I wanted it to. All right, let's do another heat before this ad. Let's see if I can't do it this way. All right, that's getting a little bit better. We're getting there. We're getting a little bit of compression in here. If you guys can see that, you can definitely see it's compressing. There's a nice straight right there, and that's exactly what I want to see. This guy is a little bit extra folded, but we'll be able to correct that in a few. We're going to continue to compress this a little bit more. Right now, it looks like it's going to be a ridiculously short axe. So that could actually sink us a little bit, but hopefully, you know, we'll be able to manage it. And we're starting to get some more clinker because that's what happens. We'll get that out of there and that out of there. We'll put a little bit of new coal and put that in there like so. All right. We're getting there slowly but surely. We'll make it. But what we're going to do is we're going to turn a minor failure into a success. All right. Exciting. I actually got that heat done in time for the ad. That makes me happy. One piece, minor issues, probably longer than expected. 2 pieces, may take some time to resolve many pieces. This might take a while. Yeah. Yep. Ain't that how it works? So we are currently on an ad break. It looks like we've got about a minute left in this ad break. So it should be good. What time is it? How long have we been streaming? Have we been streaming for an hour and a half? See, we've got plenty of time. Scroll up in the chat a few messages. Oh, okay. If you can hit it accurately, put it over the horn and use the cross peen to draw out the thicker spots to stretch it out. And thin it down, if that makes sense. That does make sense, Corwin. What if you carry it over to the press inside and squitch it together there? That would also work. But bringing it into the press is a really long walk. So yeah, I missed a few of your comments. So Corwin and Sandwich, both of your ideas that you posted in chat would work beautifully. The reason that I'm not using the press while I'm out here is because it's a really long walk. So by the time I brought the piece from the coal to the press, it would not be hot anymore. But it would totally work if I had a closer press. And Corwin, you are also correct. I can just put this over the horn and see if I can't stretch it out a little bit, thin it out a little bit. I gotta see though if I have a strong enough hold on this piece. My tongs are a little bit iffy right now, so I'm hoping that I can manage to make that happen, because I think you're right. I think that definitely would happen, thinning it out. So yeah. But yeah, thanks for the advice, guys. I mean, you guys are really smart, and you're learning. You know, as we do this together, you're learning too. So, you know, you've got advice to give. All right. Let's see if we can make Corwin's idea come to fruition. I'm going to pull this out this direction. Then I think I'm going to grab it as low as I possibly can with this piece, or with these tongs. Pull this over the anvil like so. see if I can't pull that out. Maybe it's not working as right as I want it to. Let's see. Like that, maybe. That might work some. Pull it this way. Not amazingly secure. I think what's happening is this guy is bumping up against this guy and it's not wanting to open. So, we'll heat it up and try it again. I hope you guys are having fun watching me struggle a little bit. We'll get there. This is what happens when I do stuff I'm not familiar with, you know? We just got to learn together. Borax, E2285 food additive, casting flux, insect repellent, used in ceramic glass, flame retardant, Newton absorber, and nuclear reactors, coating in dry cure meats, and used to detect pions in particle physics, and versatile compound. It is a very versatile compound. Could your partner hold the tongs while you hit, or vice versa? See, the thing is that my partner doesn't want to be on stream. And yes, that is, or is it a Canon lens on the digital camera? I'm actually using a Panasonic camera. Both of my cameras are Panasonics.
It is a Canon lens on it.
But it is a Canon lens on it, apparently. So yeah, we have a set of rings that converts our Panasonics to, or for use with Canon lenses. So yes, you're right, Sandwich. You have a very discerning taste on the, you know, figuring it out. Or is it showing on the stream? Is there like info that you can see? I think there's metadata.
I want to show the press.
Oh, that would be why. I didn't know you did a pan. I appreciate you being authentic. This isn't a factory just mindlessly making widgets. Handmade stuff is a recipe, not a script. Yes. I know another streamer whose partner does not want to be on stream and is only named the butler. The white ones are mostly Canons. I'm not amazingly familiar with like what means what as far as like which, you know, look. But yeah, that is a really long lens because we wanted to make sure that my partner could stand really far away for the forge welding area so that like all of the spray of the borax would not, you know, get them. All right, I think I have a bunch of clinker in the bottom again because I'm seeing a little less shooting flames and more like just flamey flames. All right. A70 to 200, 2.8. Wow, I think you and my partner need to talk. Yes, that's what it is. Safe distance. Yes. That's apparently what it is. All right, we're going to do another heat. If I could make this happen, it would be nice. There we go. Seems to be working a little better. All right. The next thing that I'm planning on doing is, you know what, instead of putting in like this, we're going to put it in like that. That way I'll be able to move this guy up and more straight like this side. And we should also be able to compress this a little bit. We'll be able to use the cross peen of the hammer easier that way. So let's put it in this direction, but let's pull some of this clinker out of here again. Managing fire. Always a challenge. All right. This side in like so. And then we'll go like that. Put those there. And I know, my dearest partner, that I told you that I wasn't going to be using my quench tank today because we're using a lot of high carbon steel. But I do need to actually quench off my tongs. They're getting pretty hot. Look at that steam coming off of there. All right. That should make things a little more comfy. The distance at which the camera equipment is safe. Oh, and incidentally, the operator. The butler brings food and is a really good cook, so wears the name with pride. Yes. Your partner's hands could be the only thing on screen, or maybe even just the tongs close enough to the zoom. Yes. I know another streamer whose partner does not want to be on screen with his face, so therefore is called headless. I don't know. Which is better, butler or headless?
Butler seems more sinister.
Butler seems more sinister. The butler did it, you know? The butler brings food and... Oh, yes, I already read that. So, yeah. The butler seems more sinister. Mostly because of mysteries, the butler did it, you know? Always. I was in a play when I was in junior high, and I played the maid opposite a butler, and the butler did the crime. Inherited all of the rich person's money and then offered to take me off and, you know, to the Bahamas or, you know, whatever. You know, I would have taken him up on it, but, you know, it wasn't real. It was kind of a play. All right. So for the next heat, we're going to try and straighten out that other half, the one that's sitting inside bent. So I want the two sides to be like so. And then from there, we should be able to use the cross-peen hammer to expand or thin out the material closer to that butt end. So yeah, we do have about an hour to get this done. Hopefully we can do that. There are workmen back there. Have you noticed that? Interesting. I wonder what they think. The butler mostly does really delicious food. And Corwin says you got this. I hope I got this. Bloody Toby, thank you so much for that follow. Welcome to the community. We are here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2:30 Eastern, United States time. I'm in Central, but I always give my times in Eastern because it's a lot easier for people outside of Central to understand, you know, or figure out the time. And it's almost easier for me too. I've been doing it so many years for like MMOs and things like that. I almost automatically do that when I'm like talking on Discord and stuff. So normally, instead of doing coal like we're doing today, we do a lot of gas forging with propane forges. So this is kind of a special stream today because it is my birthday and we were trying to do some forge welding. We're kind of not doing that forge welding. It's not succeeding the way I want it to do, but this is kind of the first time I've attempted to make a piece like this. So, you know, it is what it is, and we are learning. Learning. Maybe this would work better if I did it this way. Or maybe not. I'm doing kind of bad in the whole grabby, holdy department today. Ouch. There we go. Much better. Much scale. Goodness gracious. That's not wanting to be happy, is it? What can I do to pull that out? Let's think about this for a moment. Well, it's not under the heat. So I have attempted to do the same thing 3 times, and it has not worked each time. So, what if I open this side up a little bit? That would give me a little bit of the area, or like the ability to go onto the heel of the anvil and move this outward. So I think that's what I'm going to try. So we're going to put it in this direction and see if that helps a little bit. There we go. Like I said, I'm not amazingly good with coal. Much, much better with gas forges and gas forging. But learning is learning. And it's a real stream. Content is content. You got this. You always got this. Time is relative, especially with when the Atlantic is in between. I know, right? That is not a good place for that. How about over here? Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like putting my times in either Eastern or Pacific is probably the easier than putting them in Central. Because a lot of people don't realize that like Mountain Time and Central are a thing, especially in Europe. And a lot of my audience is European. So I try to make it a lot easier for them. Sometimes I succeed, sometimes I fail. I feel like I often fail when it comes to doing the metric conversions. I kind of rely on you guys for that. Happy birthday, Ray. Hey, Bungalow Glow. August is the best month. Hank Hill would appreciate your use of good old propane forge. I tell you what. You must buy propane. I just itched under my nose. I'll bet you I've given myself a mustache. Maybe I haven't. My hands aren't that filthy. They were worse when I was like hand grabbing all of the pieces of coal, but then I wiped my hands off on a paper towel. So most of that coal is there, but I don't know. I'm kind of sweating off some of the dirt. Little dirt never hurt. I concur. A wonderful month to be born. Bungalow Glow, your son was born on the 19th and you were the 28th. Ooh. See, I have a friend who was born on the 15th. I have one that was born on the 1st and one that was born on the 31st. So it is a very full month. You know why the bottom of my nose itches? It's because the mouth of this bottle is just big enough that it hits me right there. That's awesome. I guess I never noticed that. Me 9th, Gillian Anderson 10th. My dad and I have the same birthday in October. October is a pretty good month too. See, my ideal birthday is actually in February. I really wanted to have a birthday on Leap Day. So instead, I got married on Leap Day. Because, I mean, I'm not really good at remembering dates, right? So, I figure I only have to remember once every 4 years, right? So, yeah. I try to be a fun person like that, you know? All right, we're going to try this again. Let's see if I can make this work. I don't know. But maybe. Everything is turning into maybes today. Maybe. All right. All right, that worked. All right. Let's see if I can't. Is it working? A little bit. Ouch. I smashed my finger. And then I dropped my piece. And set my driveway on fire. That's always fun. Okay, so now we have a gap. So this should be a lot easier to move. Hopefully. I don't think it's a big enough gap, though. So we shall see. We shall see. Put it in just like so. And move our coal around. And then I'm going to put out a fire. A tiny fire. A smoldery fire. See? We'll put that over there. I guess I'm not technically putting it out since I just put it on the fire, but you know, close enough, right? I have two friends who are leaplings. They are both still teenagers and older than me, right? I see it spreading a bit. Ray is smoldering. Am I? I don't know about that. I'm sweating, but I don't know that I'm smoldering. All right. So in spite of the fact that today has been a very heavy learning process and it hasn't gone the way I wanted it to, I'm actually having quite a bit of fun. Forging, especially in the coal forge, is very zen for me. So it's just kind of, you know, you move the steel around and see what happens. And, you know, I don't know. I'm having a lot of fun, guys. A lot of fun. All right, I got a little bit of time. All right, cool. I have all the things taken care of for the moment. All right. Let's see. Can we do this the way I think we can? I have an idea. And it's probably a bad idea, but you never know, right? Half my ideas are good and half are bad, right? This would be a lot easier if I hadn't screwed up my thumb. All right. So it is starting to come apart. And I am starting to fling scale at myself. There we go. That's what I want to see, guys. That's what I want to see. So now we just need to squish the entirety of this that way. We shall see how well it goes. So I'm going to stick it in just like so again. And yeah. That's pretty much what I wanted it to do. That's what I wanted it to do. Exciting. That can go away. That can go in there. That can go in there like so. A thing happened the way I wanted it to. That makes me very happy. But like I said, mistakes or no, I'm having a blast doing this. Guys, this is an amazing, this is probably my favorite birthday I've ever had. You guys are making it really fun. And I just really like forging, so, you know. All right, let's get rid of some of that clinker. I burned myself right there. Right there. Having fun learning, no matter the steepness of the learning curve, is still going uphill. That it is. I'm going to dismiss this ad. It looks like we are going to start an ad break in 2 minutes and 45 seconds. I just put that steel in there. I shouldn't need to snooze it. So we should be good to go with that. So we were notified that there was some work going to be done over on at the neighbor's place on that side. It's kind of interesting. There's some workmen over there. I kind of wonder what they think of what we're doing. If they can, I know that they can see like all of the coal and they can definitely hear us. So that's kind of, you know, I am curious. So I don't know, when we're done, maybe I will ask. I don't really want to ups or like, you know, interrupt them, but I'm also curious.
They're demolishing that house.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, like next week.
Oh, they're demolishing that house next week. Subscribed, and I still appreciate the ad juggling. I try really hard because I want you guys to be able to see what's going on and make sure that everybody, you know, no matter their status, has the ability to, you know, watch and see all of the really interesting stuff. Now, I think I can wait, but there is a chance that I will have to pull this about halfway through the ad. And I apologize for that, if that is the case. But we do have quite a bit of heat going on right now. because I pulled the clinker. That's why you're an awesome streamer. I try. I don't know that I still have a lot to learn about streaming, but I try to be as good of a streamer as I can be right now. And the longer I do this, the better I'll get. So just you wait. We'll learn, we'll grow. Eventually, I'll conquer the streaming world. My first goal, though, is to get a partner. We got a ways to go for that, though. All right. I think we're all right. I think we'll do fine waiting until the ad is over. All righty. Let's see. So today I am super excited. The reason I'm super excited is because it is cool out here. We are not in the 90s anymore. Fall is here. I'm sure we will have more 90s days, but it is so awful to be forging when we've got like super heat, like when we have our heat warnings. So I am super happy about that. I'm super glad. We can be out here a lot longer that way. You're already partner. Just kidding. I know what you meant. Well, I am affiliate right now, right? So affiliate is an average of 6 watchers, and then partner is an average of 75. So we've got a ways to go. So it's more like a long-term goal. But yeah. Oh, I'm a dummy. Partnered. I have a partner. Duh. Wow. Wow. That went over my head. It took me a while to figure that one out. Wow. All right. So I have about 30 seconds left. Man, we've got a lot of scale and a lot of clinker just like laying around on the ground right now. Sweeping is going to be essential. All right. I think we're ready. All right. Yes, we are. We're out of the ad, so let's do this. All right. Pick this up like so. And use my leg. I'm going to do this that way. Much more better. Look at that. I think I've made myself the same exact problem I had before. All right. It's getting a little bit closer. A little bit closer. All right. Couple more heats to close that in a little bit further, and then we'll see if we can't close those in. But yeah, we'll probably actually get to the point where we're ready to forge weld this, and then we'll have to end the stream, is what I'm starting to think at this point. So thank you all for sticking around, even though this is not going the way I want it to. Honestly, though, I think this is funner. Almost, Well, maybe not almost. I think it is funner. I'm learning. I love learning. That's one of my favorite things about blacksmithing is just being flexible, learning what you can, and problem solving. You know what? I've lost a lot of fire. Are we going to get more? It's starting to pop up. I can see it. There's like little flames looking right there. We've got fire. It's just not big fire. Big fire. That whooshing sound. We could all see when the light bulb turned on. What? Ray Smithy tries. That'll do for now. 1 million soon. Yes. Just face it, blacksmithing is adult Play-Doh with a bit more danger. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Is it funner? As it comes from a native speaker, I assume it's correct, but it's not correct. That is not a correct suffix for fun. The correct term would be more fun. Yeah, the fire wasn't being very fiery. You're starting to look like Otzi now. Come on, wake the dead. Show me you walk on water and I'll get you a bit closer to it. Interesting. I don't think that I am familiar with that reference. But yeah, we've got more fire now. It's just, it kind of burned down a little bit. There was a lot of clinker in there, so I had to pull some out, put some more fresh coal in there, and some coked coal. So we are adding a little bit more, so you can definitely see that smoke, and you could previously see that smoke coming up. So we've got a flame again. That's just kind of how it goes when you are, you know, managing a coal fire. Anytime, as long as you have embers still going, you can make a bigger fire just by adding more coal. Funner, informal comparative form of fun, more fun. So please, with all us non-native speakers in here, you have an educational responsibility language-wise as well. I do. I'm sorry. Yeah. I have added a whole bunch of weird superlatives that aren't actually technically correct. So I will try to remember to preface my weird superlatives and slang with that it is not the correct English. Just for you guys. I have a lot of those that I use all the time. I like to play backwoodsy like wood elf type characters sometimes, and so I get to use all my like weird little like slang language and stuff like that when I'm playing those characters. And sometimes it just bleeds into my regular speech patterns. But I kind of feel like my regular speech patterns is where they came from to begin with, so. All right. Okay. I'm going to clean off my anvil face. And we're going to keep on keeping on. So I really, like I said, I really wanted to do some forge welding today, but it is not looking like it's going to be happening. Like I said, I really think that what's going to happen is I believe we are going to end up getting to a point where we are ready to forge weld, but not have the time to do so. So I have to come or figure out what we're going to do about that. Or maybe it's more like we'll be ready to, ouch, scale. We'll be ready to grind it, is kind of what I'm thinking. Ooh. Or maybe we're going to catastrophically fail. That's also a possibility. A new possibility that I have just uncovered as being a possibility. All right, so if you can get really close. So right here, you can kind of see there's some weird crackling area right there. What I'm seeing there is the steel is actually starting to rip. So not great. So it's definitely not at a point where I am concerned about it immediately catastrophically failing. However, it just means that we're going to have to modify our strategy. I'm not just going to be able to hammer this down like this anymore, because I'll just break this off. So I am thinking that we're going to have to thin this out a little bit further. I thought I was going to do okay this way, but I think Corwin's right. I think we're definitely going to have to do a little bit of thinning out before I can continue doing that. All right. So let's think. Let's think. I need... I don't have great tongs to hold this, but I need to put this over top of a... I wonder if we can do this. Can we do that? We probably can't. Using this as a stake. I do have a stake. Let's see. Is it going to fit over top of the horn of the anvil? It might. It might fit over top of the horn of the anvil. And then I should be able to do this to thin it out a little bit. So I think that might be what we're doing next. You can kind of probably hear the wheels in my brain working. That's a piece of clinker. I need that to go away. That's a piece of clinker. I need that to go away. That's same with that. There we go. All right. So we're going to need to thin this piece out. I think we can do it over the horn. But I think what we're going to have to do is rest the entire piece over the horn and do it that way, I think. I'm not sure. All right. We've lost a bit of that flame. I've got some coal smoldering under there. They just need to catch. I've got some green coal in here. That's what's making all of this smoke. There it goes. It's starting to catch. We've got a fire again. Exciting, exciting. All right. See, also a long way up in chat. 2 pieces may take some time to resolve. Yep, that's true. Yes, and we will be putting it over the horn of the anvil. See, the reason that I was wondering if I was going to be putting it over the horn or not is because um, the it's kind of thin, and so I was worried that it just wouldn't go over, or like that it wouldn't go over the horn. So I was kind of looking at maybe, using our drift, or I also have um, a stake for silversmithing. I don't really want to use my silversmithing stake with steel because it could damage it, but because it's designed with silver in mind, so it's not quite hardened as much as it would need to be. So I could, in theory, break it. So I think that we're just going to use the horn, and we'll see what happens. It may take some extra time, though. So yeah, I think this is definitely going to take a while more. The wide angle seems to be out of focus. Thanks for that. Thanks for the warning. Normally it's auto-focused, so I don't really pay that close of attention to it, but it might have gone out of focus because like the auto, or like normally we've got a blank wall, but right now we have some weird light behind me, so it may not focus quite right. So thanks for letting us know. Whew, I'm starting to get tired, man. You know why? You know why I'm starting to get tired? It's because we've been going for almost 2.5 hours. So I think we're probably going to do a couple more heats, and then I will probably raid off just because we're starting to run down on my scheduled time. And I also want to like let my neighbors have a little bit of peace. When we're in the shop, it's not quite as loud as when we're out here. So what's gonna happen is on Monday we're gonna use the gas forge to kind of start shaping this. And then I am going to, we're gonna get it to the point where all we gotta do is forge weld it. From there, I'm going to start working on our nail project, and we'll work that for until, or like for the rest of the week, depending on how long this one takes. Once I get to next weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend, I will record a video of me forge welding this after having gotten it ready all week. And we'll do a watch along with it when I've got that ready. How does that sound? Is that all right? Barbecue and birthday stuff. Yes, birthday stuff. There, yeah. What do I got? It's better. And there is something going on with the close-up. Is that the protection filter? It's not how the 7200 looks. I don't know. 2 hours and 22 minutes of forging and still no fake dollars. Yes, we will be doing some birthday stuff this weekend. That's kind of how, or why I have to get going at some point. Time to get loud. Yes. So yeah, like I said, we're gonna do a couple more heats, and then I will have to raid off. But I will be back on Monday. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna continue working on the axe. We're gonna get it ready for the forge weld, and we're gonna do that next weekend. I'm just gonna make sure that we get that done, and we will make this axe. It's just going to take us a little bit longer, I think. So I'm pretty excited. I'm learning a lot. Learning. Alrighty, let's do another heat. I gotta figure out these tongs. We're gonna use these tongs. I wish I had a straight peen. A straight peen would be amazing. Alrighty, we're gonna heat this up again. Yep. Alright. I just pushed all of that clinker that I pulled out of here right back into the fire. That is awesome. I'm apparently getting tired, so, you know. Alright, so we're gonna do one more heat. Because I'm starting to get really tired, and that's not good when I am, you know, using the coal forge. So we're gonna let this heat up one more time. We're gonna do a little bit more and thinning out, and then I will raid off. So if there's anybody that you guys would like to raid to, let me know. Otherwise, we'll see who's on. And maybe learn or meet some new people. I want to, once again, thank you guys so much for joining me today. Thank you so much for being here for my birthday and helping me celebrate. I love streaming for you guys. You guys are, you know, the reason why I do stream. So thank you so much. Celebrate your birthday with Ray's Butler. Enjoy. Watching the spare tongs on the anvil jumping on and off the anvil, yes. The edge of the flat side of your hammer kind of works as a straight peen. You're right, it does. Thank you so much, Ping, for that happy birthday. Yeah, like I said, I'm getting really tired, so there's a lot of really basic things that I'm just kind of forgetting to do. So I definitely need to take a little bit of a break, clean up, take a shower, and then get ready to, you know, do birthday things. Right. Close up looks better now. Awesome. I'm glad it looks better. Oh, apparently the sun shifted and it made the polarizer act weird. That's what I'm being told anyway. See, all I gotta say is I would never have known that. Honestly, I would not have been able to figure out, you know, what to do with that lens right away. I would just be like with our normal lens and our normal camera, because that's a different lens. It is that long lens. Our normal lens is a much smaller lens. So I am very grateful that My partner is here to help me. I don't think I could have done this stream without them. Okay. Last heat. Last heat. One more heat. We're a little bit on the cold side. I probably should have waited a little bit longer. You know what? Ray's not doing so hot now. Awesome. All right, there we go. That's better. Hey, I caught it. All right, I think that's all she wrote. We're getting close to 3 strikes and you're out. So, thank you all for joining me today. I hope you had fun. I surely had fun. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great rest of your weekend. And have fun. All right. So, let's see if I can transition to my outro. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will be back on Monday. Have a fun weekend. Thanks for sharing. Well, thank you for joining and all of your support, all of you. All right, let's see. Who's around to raid? All right. We're going to go with Merrimack Mud. Let's see if he's finished his shelving. All right. Thank you guys so much. Have a great weekend.